Hey everyone. So I'm doing these videos to talk about issues that I'm working on. And one, actually two of the issues that I'm working on are OCD and PTSD. And so I more recently was triggered. This because specifically I'm doing cognitive behavioral therapy, so exposure therapy. So I've had to force myself into some situations that I'm normally really uncomfortable in. And that is actually going to New York City. Now, um, I used to live in New York briefly, and while I love New York, it was such a miserable time that I freak out anytime I'm there. So, Uh, if anybody knows anything about me, I worked in cannabis. I go to expos, everything like that, parties, things like this, events, meeting with clients, and anything like that. So, having to go to New York is something that's extremely important. Um, and I find myself, trying to avoid it, or just really it drains me. So, there was two things that I had done more recently that really seemed to help. Now, it was preparing myself a few days prior with a microdose of psilocybin. So just a simple quarter of a milligram um, of penis envy, actually. And went on a hike and just tried to really let go of um, the obsessive thoughts that were trying to consume me about this situation. So like you create this false narrative of, oh my god, this is gonna happen this time, oh my god, this is what you always do. That's my thing, is that like I really get hard on myself. I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna go there and then you're gonna do this, like you're just gonna disassociate and you're gonna freak out, have a panic attack, and then you're just gonna have to leave, because that's what always happens. But if you can prepare yourself going forward to kind of change that negative self-talk, then you kind of set a better foundation for yourself. So when I know that I can prepare and I can microdose a few days ahead, I do it. Or a few days after. So I actually had to do that as well because, again, put myself in situations that make me, trigger me or made me uncomfortable. But I have to do it. You have to see that you're getting better. You have to like try. And it's really important, especially if you're doing this type of thing, that you are working with a mental health professional, that you're not just doing this on your own, because sometimes exposure therapy can be triggering you and you might just throw yourself into a whole dark place and you don't know how to get out. So sometimes you do need that assistance. um, so anyway, uh, I also used the psilocybin a couple days later because I was again having obsessive thoughts that were leading to like compulsion or whatever. And then on top of it, then I kind of stopped eating, so I didn't eat for like at least 3 to 4 days after, which really I didn't notice until I was down the line and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't eaten in 3 days. So again, if you don't know, I am a medical marijuana patient here in New Jersey, so I do make my own edibles and things like that. So having to use more cannabis has been the way to get me to eat. It kind of get those thoughts to slow down. Like you're just kind of ruminating and it's just going on and on and on and on. And it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. But then also when you're in the situation, it doesn't hurt to have some edibles. So like I make iced tea for myself, I make cookies for myself, and just consume it before I know that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm just going to be maybe a little bit overwhelmed. And always have my CBD with me, and I find that it's so helpful. And people may see it as that you are you know, trying to have a good time, and there's nothing wrong, you know, wanting to cut loose, whatever, and using cannabis recreationally. But there's also instances where you're just like, you really need it. And luckily, the thing is like, maybe I became a little bit antisocial when I had 4 edibles, but it enabled me to do something that I'm normally not able to do. Um, and I got through it and I got past it. So like now I know next time that I can do it and I can actually use less edibles. And the whole point of that is that if this was me taking Xanax like I was 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, I probably would have been like, oh, one's not working right now. Let me take another one. Let me take another one. Let me take another one. And then next thing you know, I'm zombie. Yeah, Xanax ruined my life. I say that just, you know, whatever. But it really it taught me a lot, and it taught me to really, 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 really just be grateful for cannabis as medicine. And sometimes I have to use it begrudgingly because I don't really want to use it. Like, I don't necessarily want to pull out a joint and smoke it and smell like cannabis and draw the attention to me. And especially if it's in a situation where I'm already having that feeling of like a paranoia, or, you know, you're on high alert, like PTSD and things like that. Or, you know, even like a vape pen. And sometimes it's just not what you need. So for me, the biggest helps have been microdosing psilocybin, edibles, and you know what? Let me say healthy edibles, because if you're eating stuff that's like loaded with sugar, it's just going to actually exacerbate some of the symptoms that you may be having from anxiety. So let me reiterate: healthy edibles, and CBD, carry it everywhere. That is like my Xanax. That is my PRN. PRN means as needed. Take that as needed. So if you are a New Jersey resident and you need a medical marijuana card, you know, you can reach out to me. If you're curious about, you know, using cannabis to help you deal with like certain mental health issues, you know, help with making edibles for yourself, things like that, contact me. You know, visit my website, RxMaryJade.com. Contact me, book a session, and, you know, you don't have to suffer anymore. Like, as the philosophies of the Buddhists may be, like, life is suffering, and that is very true, and you can't escape that. But like, you get to choose. You get to choose how much you suffer. So if you have the option to make yourself a little bit better, or ease the pain somewhat, I think that you should take that option, because I took that option and I'm getting to thrive now. It took a while, but I finally get to do it. So I don't want you ever to think that you're hopeless, that there's no hope for you, there's no chance, it's just not going to work. Like, it definitely works. And the thing is that using natural medicine, you could still freak out and have weird days and whatever, but you're not going to overdose and die. And to me, that is like a big thing. I know so many people who have actually overdosed and they're no longer with us, and I wish they were. And maybe if they had access to medical cannabis, you know, and good quality psilocybin, you know, and in a safe environment, they'd still be here. But who are we to say? Well, I hope that this kind of opens your eyes somewhat as to what a holistic plant-based lifestyle is. And I'll share more about things that I do to help me and kind of make my world a better place. All right? Make sure you visit my website, RxMaryJade.com, if you have any more questions, and check out my other videos, and I'll see you around. Take care. Be well.